to this now. The Market Theatre, in partnership with the ASSITEJ SA, are presenting a new offering called Pieces of Me. The show calls, or rather tells, a real-life story of veteran SA actress Bo Petersen. Now, to tell us a bit more about this play is Bo Petersen herself. Bo, good to have you on the program this evening. I want to start at the core. What made you decide that now is the right time to tell the story publicly after carrying it privately for so long?
You know, it's an interesting thing. The only thing I can say is my ancestors demanded that I do it. It was the right time, and yeah, they guided me to tell the story.
Give us some context to the story. You were only 19 when you discovered your father's secret. How did that discovery shape your understanding of family, identity, and self?
You know, when I was 19, I was in a South Africa that is very different today. I was right in the belly of the beast of apartheid. And the secret that I discovered was that my father had been passing as a white man. He had married my mother, and I discovered, and it was difficult. I was very close to my father. I was horrified that a system had caused a family, and my family is not the only family that did it. There are hundreds of South African families who made the same choices. So it was a profound moment and an interesting moment because assumptions are made by people about people, and often they're not the truth. So I think for me, it's the play's been amazing in that afterwards people always come and tell me stories about their lives and about their family secrets.
But passing is such a complex and loaded experience in South Africa. What was it like to come to terms with your father's decision, and how did it affect your relationship with him?
You know, I was a young actress at the time, and I worked with the great Barney Simon, and I told very few people because the consequences of my father being outed would have been severe. Our family would have been torn apart. You know, it would have been, my father probably would have gone to jail, fined. And Barney said something to me, which I've always remembered. He said to me, "Your story, your heritage is very rich. You are the South Africa," because we do. My DNA, I have all of South Africa in me, from the Khoi to Xhosa to enslaved. My matrilineal ancestors were two women from, we're not sure which country, but they were given names by the authorities. So, you know, I feel truly South African in that my DNA is reflective of our society. However, it's difficult, and for some people it felt like a shame. For me, it never. It felt for me always. I was sad that my father had to be isolated from his family because he was very close to his mother and he looked after his family his whole life. He sent them money and kept in touch with them. But it was a huge price to pay, and a price I don't think any parent should, have to make the choice.
But interestingly, you described writing pieces to really process it all here. How did the act of writing become a tool for healing or even survival in this case?
You know, as I say, I mean, it does sound a bit sort of like, I don't know, a bit airy-fairy, but my ancestors, really, my grandmother, who I never met, I woke up one night and her story came out and onto the stage, as did my aunt. And I think, you know, at last I can say who I am.
Yeah.
I haven't really said that to lots of people. And I think for us to grapple with that, you know, then what does that mean, actually? I've taken this play to different parts of the world, and it's been amazing. I've had people come to say to me, you know, their story was different, but the same thing, hiding identity, being told that what you are is not good enough or less than. And so it's a relief. And for me, my play is about an hour long, and then we usually have a facilitated talk back.
Mm.
And the stories that people have told me, I have felt such a privilege that I've been able to hold these stories, but there's been so much pain and suffering that was caused by the apartheid government that I think people haven't even started to really understand the depth in which it goes. And often it gets brushed over, and
Yeah.
people have told, "Oh, move on," But we carry a heavy, deep scar.
Very quickly, Bo, silence also plays a central role in this story. How did keeping your father's secret influence your sense of agency or even belonging?
As I say, I feel that I am of this country.
Mm.
In my DNA is of this country. All the people who have lived in this country are part of me, are part of my DNA. And that gives me a very strong sense of being rooted. For many, up until really before I started doing this play, I often, people would share stories about their lives and what they did. We lived a very isolated childhood, and it feels at last I
Right.
can stand up and be proud. And I'm on stage with my cousin, who is classified as colored. He's 3 years older than me. I was classified as white, and here we are. And we've proven for Voet and all his henchmen and all the people who voted him in that, here we are.
Here we are.
Proud to be who we are, proud to be Petersons.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us your story. That's Bo Petersen telling us about a moving journey through identity, race, and the secrets that shaped her family there.